Aloha and welcome to another edition of Global Hope. We are a group of citizens and students talking about today's issues. Let's get introductions with Val.
Corey Harbin.
I'm Bunny Smith.
Rachel. I'm a HCC student.
I'm Devin Kelly.
Matt McNall. I'm a UH philosophy student.
Jennifer Ruggles, community member.
I'm Danny Lee. I live in Paradise Park.
All right, guys, what's going on?
Well, first off, I wanted to talk about our guest speaker that we just had talk last Tuesday, I believe. Her name was Wright. She's a retired colonel from the military, and she actually resigned from the military because she had an objection to the war in Iraq. She felt that it was immoral and illegal, and she'd been in the military for something like 30 years, ever since Vietnam. And this was the first war that she had troubles with the wars previously, but this one really got on her bad side because of, she just thought it was unjust. And I thought it was really an honorable thing to do, to give up your post of that long period of time because of your conscience. And she wrote a book called, Dissent and the
Voices of Conscience.
Yeah, Voices of Conscience. It was a great speaker. She was really informative, and she talked on some really important issues, mostly about the war in Iraq and also about previous wars in the United States and a lot of the disputes in the Middle East. So, do you guys have any comments on what you thought of the presentation?
Yeah, she was very eloquent. She was very eloquent on Tuesday night, speaking about dissent in general. And she was very eloquent the night before when she spoke in Kayao about Palestine. She has visited in Palestine and specifically in Gaza 4 times, and most recently was not allowed in because of the pressures on the Egyptian government by the Israeli and the U.S. governments. So that there was a huge number of people at the end of the year asked to go into Gaza to bring in humanitarian aid, food, and so forth. 1,400 people from around the world not able to get in. But she spoke about the conditions there, and they are indeed very, very difficult. And I do want to mention that this very weekend, Danny, you're going, aren't you, to the Sabio conference?
Yeah, I have to be in Honolulu.
Yeah, there's going to be a conference on Palestine, and it should be very, very interesting at St. Andrew's Cathedral.
All right, anybody else have anything on that?
On the topic of Palestine, actually, Bunny did an excellent presentation about a book called Witness to Palestine, if I'm not mistaken. And it discussed a lot of the issues that really aren't known about in the American public, about how the Israelis treat the Palestinians and basically can bulldoze their house and just decide to take the land for Israeli territory. And it really exposed a lot of the injustice that's happening over there that I think we really neglect because we have such a tainted view from our media. So I definitely encourage anybody that's interested to go ahead and check it out and kind of expose some of the truth and unveil some of the things that are going on over there.
So what you're saying is because we have such close relations with Israel that we, in public, are getting a tainted view of what's really going on over there?
Yeah, actually, I think especially in Hawaii, our own governor, Linda Lingle, got an award for her contributions to the war in Israel.
And she is a Jewish American citizen.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note it, that the issue is not with Judaism. The issue is with the treatment, the unjust treatment of the Palestinians. And there is a question about Zionism. Zionism is not Judaism, and I think everybody who reads about this can understand it. And if you want to understand it further, this Anna Balzer, who wrote this book and also made a video, you can get to her website at www.annainthemiddleeast.org. And the information you get will be very, very, very accurate and not heartening, but it will be, I think, open eyes, as people have told me it has been the case.
Some of the other things that Wright talked about was activism and the importance of it and how we have to not give up the fight for what we believe in, even if we're looking in dark times. And on that topic, there's been some secret meetings going on at Pohakaloa up in the saddle of Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa about the military and their plans for the area up there, and the public wasn't invited. So she and Wright and a few others led a protest up there. And can you guys want to talk about that?
I believe me, Dan, and Bunny were there, and it was pretty interesting. There were definitely on the other side of the road. There were teabaggers, and they were holding up all these signs, or these American flags, and all these signs saying "Support our troops" and "Freedom is not free," and
Win the war.
Yeah, win the war. And it really didn't. A lot of it didn't even apply to what the meeting was about. I don't know why they were there, but it was pretty interesting. It was one of my first protests I've been to, and they had a thing. They were yelling back to us about our signs, because I had a sign about the depleted uranium and how we should. I said DU, and they hazarded thing. They were saying no DU, and they yelled into me. That DU issue is so played out, and it was really fun. It was really interesting.
You know, it's funny. Teabagging seems to be the hot thing right now, but in reality, it's basically Republicans trying to gather up all the youngins and people who don't really know what's going on to say there's going to be lower taxes. You know, that's what it's going to be, but it's basically just Republican puppetry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dismiss, because a lot of people have, strong feelings, and rightfully so, about, what's happening in the government, what, money being taken away. We have no say. So many people are upset. So that part of it, I think, is there, the anger there. But yeah, that's true that the Republicans have used it opportunistically and try to, channel it to their side. But as far as a lot of the people, grassroots people who join, some of them, a lot of them, have legitimate rights, and
reasons for it.
Yeah. I think the DU issue is very important. I mean, when you have a sign that says, "After victory there is peace," I mean, as if the only way we can run the world is by having endless wars and then maybe little brief interludes of peace. But the issue, for example, of depleted uranium, people can dismiss it, but the problem is it affects all of us. And so it's not just a matter of us who are protesting it, it's also a matter of all the military on the islands who are also exposed to depleted uranium. Maluaina had submitted a letter to a number of our state and county officials who were going into the meetings on the 24th, yesterday, with the military. And what was very interesting is, as it begins, and it says, the doors are closed to the public who pays the bills. And it was also closed to those of us who are citizens of the island who are pulling into our lungs the depleted uranium. The military continues to conduct bombing missions and live fire without a complete independent assessment of the depleted uranium radiation present at Talakaloa, and without cleaning up, as is called for in the Hawaii County Council Resolution 63908. So we have a resolution that calls for the military to clean this up before there's any more live firing and so forth, but they haven't done it. And so questions that we wanted answers to were, why hasn't the Army stopped all live fire and bombing missions until there is a complete independent assessment and cleanup of the depleted uranium already present, as called for in that resolution? And are there more forgotten hazards? Because the military has said before, it's just, we didn't realize this. Well, they better realize it, because it's extremely dangerous for it. And how is it that there's plenty of money for new military projects, but little to clean up the 50-plus former military sites on Hawaii Island littered with unexploded ordnance, toxins, and other hazards? And other questions are the impact from the military on the islands altogether. About 1 acre out of 25 statewide is already military controlled. And the military wants more land, and so forth. And the closing was, we want military cleanup and not military building.
So they're not really.
No, they're not
doing
being
anything about
responsive.
it.
They're not being responsive. So,